Today we're gonna look at some of my controllers. These are ones I made several years ago. This is one I'm using for my, well, it's an Atari joystick. Got hooked to a custom controller that I bought. But first, the musical interlude. Of course, this guitar is for sale up on Reverb on their Gear Exchange. No, on Reverb and over at Sweetwater on their Gear Exchange. It ain't cheap, but it don't play cheap. It is a really nice playing guitar. So, set this aside for a minute. And we'll look at these. So, I wanted some arcade controllers. And I wanted to be able to test because, like when I was a kid, it's like this. The joystick, you play it with your your right hand. Got your button with the left. Hold it with your left hand. Arcade things tended to have the joystick with your right hand. Had your buttons with the left. At some point, kind of entering the Nintendo home era, I guess. And Sega, they had their control pads on the left and your buttons on the right. Then when they made joysticks, they were reversed. That kind of became the standard to the point where it's hard to get, or harder to get, right-handed stick. Which I guess they might now call a left-handed stick. But it wouldn't have been called a left-handed stick back in the 70s and 80s. Because that was the one for right-handed people. Anyway, so I got, I'm going to kick this on. So it might wash some things out a bit. I got a cheap kit-ish thing. It had 2 joysticks, how many buttons are here? 8, 10, so 20 buttons, and 2 USB controllers, and some wires to hook them together. And then you would build your own box, basically. What they didn't really tell you was that you also needed one more button, at least. You could have, the controller actually supports a couple of extra buttons, but these would default to like an imitation analog mode or something, which was, at least with the original sticks, woefully inaccurate. and not good. You didn't want that, and it didn't work with as many games and stuff. So what I ended up doing was taking a reset switch from a computer and wiring it up, because it's just a momentary switch and it just needs to change the mode. On the other one, I ended up buying an extra button and putting it in, wiring that up. Yeah, this was literally a pizza box from Pizza Hut. I got a pizzas, and I think they came with like some oh, we got like the pasta. So it was in its own little foil containers inside of the box. So the boxes didn't have anything on them, like food or anything. They were just holding the stuff. And I was like, huh, you know, what can I do with a totally unused pizza box? I was like, decided to build the controller in that. So here we go. Now the original joysticks that came with these were really sloppy and inaccurate. So this one, I bought a sandwich stick eventually for it, which is a pretty good brand, and it's nice and shallow like the sticks that came with the kit. As what I did first was bought a hap stick and found out it was way too tall to fit in my pizza box. But the Chinese sticks that came with it were imitations of the sandwich, so the sandwich fit just right in. But yeah, I went crazy with the hot glue gun. I had a box that had really thick cardboard, so I put pieces of that glued in here to reinforce things. And then later I also added a couple of metal brackets to further reinforce it. Have all the buttons. These all attached to the controller, which is down there. Can't really see it very well in here. And since it's taped in place, I don't want to pull it out because I'd have to redo the tape. Yeah. Oh, and there's my lovely computer switch. Just didn't need the other button, or I didn't have anything for the lights. Those are just LEDs. Suppose I could maybe hook those up to something. I never even thought about it. Hook that up to the controller board, and Bob's your uncle. Yeah, there's a big dumpster near my house, and there was a couch sticking out of it. So I was going over because there's a great place to eat right next to it. But people throw all kinds of crap in that dumpster. There's a couch sticking out of it. And I cut a big piece of vinyl out of it and rolled it up. And ended up using some of the vinyl on this. So, well, let's see. Well, I've got it out. Let us bring up the window. Let's see how to do this. Showing up. Well, that's display capture, but it's not showing up. Display capture 2. Oh, there we go. So this shows up as X input. No, never mind. It's not plugged in. USB joystick. Oops. Gotta love a generic USB joystick. Oops, wrong button. Property, no, game control settings. There we go. Popped up on the wrong screen. Oh, what do we got? Alright, see. That's up in the axis box. If I hit this button, the one I showed earlier, it moves this onto point of view hat, or that would be like the control pad on a Xbox controller or something. This is really your more accurate mode for this kind of thing. Maybe I can do these in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 for start and select. And there's actually 2 more buttons that I don't have on here because they didn't give me any more buttons. I guess it never occurred to me to go ahead and put 2 more in. The axes up there, I don't know if there's anything on the controller that those can hook to or not. Maybe. That seems a little twitchy up there sometimes. Those 2 axis buttons. The day when I was messing with this, kept wanting to jump back to this mode. Anyway, let's say okay. Okay. Back off of here.
Listen!
I had to change my Windows default sounds because they were really upsetting our old dog. Not as in old as in one we used to have, as in it's very old. He's very old. Okay. So then we have this one. It's got the same controller inside of it, the USB board. There's a button I mentioned that rather than have the computer reset switch, I ordered another button off eBay. And what's that goober on there? This has seen a lot of use and abuse. Kind of faded and gone stained. I drew some buttons to keep track of like X, Y, square, etc., but they rubbed off, so. And this one uses the hap stick. Bought that to replace the sloppy stick that it came with, and then found out that it was too tall. So here's the inside of this one. My solution for it being too tall was, let's see, try to find a good position for this. This is the pizza box is just set into this little sort of shell at an angle. I got some of that same thick cardboard I was using to reinforce things and basically did a sort of like a box but cut off at an angle. Glued the pizza box in. And yeah. So there's some cardboard in here to kind of reinforce it a bit. various places. Got the hole there to give the access, the extra clearance needed. And there's the interior. This one was getting quite a bit of use for like fighting games and stuff, so it got some extra reinforcement to keep it from collapsing. See the USB board a little better now on this one, since it's just set in here kind of flat. And these are the ones that I've used. Let's see what these others are. Had to modify the wiring loom a bit because the HAP doesn't use the sort of standard attachment like that. Oops. Where is it? There we go. Doesn't have a plug, so each wire has to be done individually. The what was that? Didn't have any shrink wrap, I guess. The each switch uses a ground, and those can all be the same, so it's just one wire going to each. I mean, it's, you know, daisy chained, and then the individual wires go over here. Let's see. So what did we have that we're not using? Well, these are probably the two last buttons. And can't remember what these are for. Either they're a different sort of input. I wonder if it'd be for, could be for analog. I'm not sure. But these over here, there's the mode switch I did hook up. But you can also do turbo, clear, and auto, whatever those are for. USB joystick. To decipher that stuff, I go look online. Oh. These are AU, AD, AR, AL, so that'd be I'm not going to say analog maybe, but AU's most likely going to be up, the D down, right, and left. VDO, that's probably the ground for everything. But these are also labeled, well, that says AU, which I would think would be up. That says AC, which does not make sense for up. AL, I don't know. Have to look that kind of thing up. Because, of course, if it came in with any instructions at all, they would have been in Chinese. So, you have to, like, find whatever controller you've got online. And, somebody will have a translation. Uh-oh, I need some tape to repair that sucker. Starting to split a little bit. It's going to be the same sort of thing, but I'll go ahead and plug it in. Get our capture up again. Cable. I didn't hear a hey or a listen. Hey! Oh, there it is. Is that there the whole time? Oh, I bet it's on the other screen again. Oh, of course. Nice responsive stick. It's a good stick. It's a HAP competition stick. Oh, that's interesting. I don't remember those doing that. And the other one. For sure they didn't. This controller's a little less glitchy. I mean, you know, the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. When I set up my buttons on the stick, on the other joystick that has the stick on the right hand side instead of the left hand side, just reversed, did like a mirror on what buttons do what. And funny thing about your brain is if it's like an exact mirror, then your left hand tends to work with it pretty natively. So that's interesting that responds different. Changes those axes. Okay. And yeah, so like there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So on the opposite side. So this is 1. This closest one would be 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and the brain just like, okay. As long as they mirror each other. As if you put 1 here and 2 here, and then keep 1 on the left, 2 on the right, it'll mess with you.
Listen, hey!
Might have loose wire.
Hey!
Hey, you listen.
Listen, hey!
What? Doesn't seem to be.
Listen, hey!
That's weird. Pull this.
Listen!
What?
Listen! Hey! Listen, hey! Listen!
Lovely, holy corroded contacts, Batman. gold plate standards. A little bit of contact cleaner. Some of the contacts are looking a bit green.
Hey!
There we go.
Listen!
Oh. I think that was pretty much the problem.
Listen! Hey! Listen! Hey! Listen! Hey!
Yeah. Need something for cleaning USB contacts. Suppose they probably have something. Could just take an old junk USB hub and spray it. So, oh, I gotta show one more thing while I was here.
Listen!
Put that aside. And I got this monstrosity. The reason I built those is I like old games, like arcade games, and we had an Atari 2600 when I was a kid, growing up. I'm older than Nintendo. Home systems anyway. And so yeah, really like old retro games. ColecoVision, Intellivision, Atari. So I can use those, but really like the old analog controls. And so I got this puppy. It's a guy that makes them. I think you can find them on Atari Age. And, just about anything that has 9 pins, like an Atari plug. So Sega, third-party Intellivision or late model Intellivision controllers for the Intellivision 2, ColecoVision, things that use these 9-pin cables. This can convert them to USB. I'm just gonna bring this up.
Hey!
Ooh, let's see. This shows up as Ultimate 1 and 2 because it has 2 inputs. I don't think this one supports driving controllers. They would spin all the way around. It might support paddles. He makes a newer model that supports both, I believe. I really like to have one of those. Just one button. The Wicco. You could need some contact cleaner in there. You could either have it on the stick or the base. The original Atari only had one button support. I want to modify my Wiccos. The later Atari 7800, which could play Atari 2600 games, had two buttons. And you I want to modify these so that they use the same sort of circuit. I think they put the two in line but use like a resistor or something, and then on the 7800's end you can go, oh well, this is a little different, and so that's button 2 or whatever. But I'd like to be able to use both of those. And if the controller, if this picks up two individual button presses as like 1 and 2, then I could use this for, say, Nintendo emulation, because then I'd have two buttons. This one doesn't seem to, this stick doesn't like going straight diagonal, does it? Or when I pick this up.
Listen!
Pushed it in and out a couple of times, and it made the other directions work better, but alright, we'll see if that helped any.
Hey! Probably not the connection, then it's probably the controller itself. Well, let's try a different one. Ooh, this thing's dusty as heck. Swiffers were a wonderful invention. I don't know how I lived without them. This is a doggy cord. Stiff. That button works nicely. I haven't cleaned the contacts of this one. Listen!
These don't feel a little bit loose. Analog, your contacts are everything. How good a contact you get. signal you get pretty much.
Hey!
I have to bring some more controllers over from the other house. This one's dirty. The other one works better than this one. It's bouncing all over the place. Let's get the other one back. Good but stiff, it says. Apparently, contacts need to be cleaned in there.
Listen!
It's annoying me, so see how long it takes to field strip a Wicco. Does this happen to fit? Oh, with these old school switches, I think they call these leaf switches. These things manually make contact, and that is your button press. And nothing in here looks dirty. I'm trying to think of what would be best to try to clean these with. Here's a little strip of cardboard. Paper or something. Ooh, don't fall off. Let's see. Thing looks freaking new. That's a little dirty. not the best way to do this. Had a real thin piece like that, that'd work pretty good. Maybe. Oh yeah. I know. Be right back. Oh yeah. I don't really want to use anything abrasive. Something abrasive would take off the corrosion easily, but leaves behind tiny scratches, which makes it easier to corrode again. So, abrasives are kind of a double-edged sword. I'll try to avoid that if I can. But this is not abrasive. On. It's interesting that this one's black when the other ones are brown. Two. See, this fire button was also a bit twitchy. So I had something a little smaller to go between here. Let's take that off. I think that just slides off. Oh, pulled it too hard. So get this switch out. Peg that holds it there. Arr. Hard to get in there. I'm not sure that that's electrically any different. I don't think it is, but I saw some scoring on there. It made me want to clean it. Okay, so I accidentally yanked that off of there. like having that touch that wire. See if I can adjust that a little bit. And this one. That was down there too. Yeah. It probably shouldn't carry any current if one of these wires is, you know, the shielding touching that, but it's possible, so I'll just try to eliminate that possibility. Alright. Should have paid a little more attention which direction this went. So these things are going to touch against stuff to hold it in place. Most likely. Okay. So there's 3 of these that are going to be pushing against those switches, but you can't have a blade there because that's in the way, so it must go this way. Plug her back in.
Hey!
Perfecto. That's one of the things about a good analog stick is you can clean it infinitely. And it's freaking arcade durable. A Weeko. No more twitchiness from that button. Super clicky. Success. I should look to see if there's something I could get to clean those better. That's a little too thick. Coca-Cola. Alright. So now I'm going to go and play some Atari with all these controllers. See what it's like. So, take care, have fun, thanks for joining, of course. And
our musical outro again.
So I like this song, and it's never too late to remember that rock and roll ain't noise pollution. And remember that this guitar is for sale. Take care, have fun. Good night.